recording, and every once in a while on hashtag Rise and Grind, there are some episodes that are super inspiring, super motivating, super lighthearted, all of those. And then every once in a while, there's some episodes where I get done writing them and I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure this is what you want me to share with folks? Are you sure, God? Are you sure? And I just got to go with it because it's always been this way from day one. Hashtag Rise and Grind. He tells me what to say. I just deliver the message. So don't shoot the messenger. Uh-oh, what is going on here? I just did that whole thing and it didn't go out to Facebook yet, but I know how to fix that. There we go. I know what happened. All right. Starting over, 5, 4. See the things that you guys see behind the scenes that nobody used to be able to see. All right, we are exposed in today's world. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, check it out, folks. Every once in a while, there's an interesting episode of hashtag Rise and Grind. So a lot of the episodes are very motivating, uplifting, rainbows, butterflies, all of those things. But every once in a while, there's a message that I'm like, really? Really, God, this is what you want me to talk about today? And that's kind of what happened this morning. So tuck in. I hope you're ready. I hope this message is for you. I promise it'll be powerful. And before I dive in, I do want to give a shout out to my man, Chris Lundberg, because Chris Lundberg submitted the quote today in the Rise and Grind planner. So got up 3:20 a.m., did my thing. And as I opened the planner, there was a quote from Chris that said, "You're never wrong to do the right thing." You're never wrong to do the right thing. And I really needed that push and encouragement this morning because this is going to be an interesting episode, to say the least, of hashtag Rise and Grind. Let's dive in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? See, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts.
Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to 1, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Thursday. That's right. Today is Thursday, June 3rd, 2021. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Tuesday, June 3rd, 2021. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most. And yes, I do mean the absolute most of this absolutely incredible, incredible day. Listen, on today's episode of hashtag Rise and Grind, my intention is simple. I hope to ignite in you an understanding of the absolute urgency and the dire consequences associated with your ascent or lack thereof. That's it. We have been in an amazing series this week. It's been an amazing series. The series has been called Walk This Way. The power of one man to change the world. And through this series, we've discussed Vinaya Bhavi, who convinced farmers across India to give him 1/6 of their land, which he then in turn gave to poor impoverished people who had no land so they could grow their crops and feed their families. Not to mention the non-violent protests that he led and the battle against Britain's rule in India. We also talked about Reshma Saujani, who created Girls Who Code and is a world thought leader. She is empowering women globally and making a massive impact on this planet. We talked about Margaret Cagill, who in her death donated $6 billion to charities. $6 billion on top of another $200 million while she was alive. We talked about Jim Barnett, who's created an environment where people can be happier at work, realizing and recognizing the detriment that our current work offices and workforces were putting on humankind. We talked about Betty Waters, who freed her brother, who was wrongfully incarcerated for murder, and now is continuing to fight injustices in our system on the daily. We talked about James Harrison, who's donated blood every single week for 61 years and was able to save 2.4 million lives. We talked about Farrah Nickerson and how she's using hedgehogs to make a massive impact, to bring joy into elderly people and disabled people's lives. And of course, we talked about Jesus, a man who in 3 years spread a mission of hope around the world that has made a global impact and still continues to do so 2,000 years later. We've talked about all of these things, and we've talked about the importance of growth and the importance of ascension. And we've talked about this whole idea that one man, one woman can literally change the world. That if we rise, if we step into our greatness, if we get 1% better every single day, that we can ascend in a way far beyond our imaginations. We've talked about that every single day this week. And yet some of you still don't get it. Some of you still don't get it. Some of you are looking at me and you're like, well, yeah, that's them, but not me. I can't do that. They can change the world, but I can't do that. There are still some of you right now that are like trying to crawl under the radar. You're like, you know what? I'm just going to humbly play it small. I'm good. Nobody needs to hear my voice. Nobody needs to hear my message. And I'm just here to tell you, dude, you're wrong. You're wrong. And what you need to understand is that when you're saying no, not me, when you're spending time shaking your head saying I'm not the one, I need you to understand that there are lives at stake. There are absolutely 100% lives at stake. And if you don't do you, if you don't do you with a mindset and activity level that your actions matter, that every decision you make matters, if you don't do you at that level, other people will suffer. Bottom line, other people will suffer. Now, on the other side of that, if you do you, if you do you and you shine your light, if you do you and you push yourself into uncomfortable areas, if you do step into your uniqueness and your greatness, if you continue to radiate and shine that light that was divinely placed in you, if you do you at a massive level and you continue to move towards the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, just a little bit, every single day, 1% better, right? If you do that, you can change the world. You can absolutely change the world. Now, we're going to dive into that a little bit further, but before we do, you know what we got to do on this show? That's right, folks. Sorry to come out the gate swinging this morning. Y'all probably wasn't ready for that. You're like, Glenn, I haven't even had my coffee yet. Well, I ain't got time to wait on you to drink your coffee. I'm just saying, let's go. Listen, this is the part of the show where we do some dancing, okay? The reason we do some dancing at this part of the show is that an object in motion tends to stay in motion. And an object at rest tends to stay at rest. So I need you to get in motion right now. All right? Listen, if you're laying in bed, it's time for you to get up. We need you. All right? It's time for you to get up. If you're out there running, I need you to run a little bit harder. If you're out there working out right now, pick up some extra weight. If you're hiding out in the green room of hashtag Rise and Grind like my man Michael Huey right here, he's doing the hashtag from the TikTok. I love it. Then you got to get moving. Let's go. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. This is also the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. All right? Whether you're watching live, you're watching on replay, go ahead and share this out. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and drop a comment, subscribe. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you give us a thumbs up rating, all of those things. And if you're on Facebook, go ahead and hit the share button right now. All right? If you're on Instagram, go ahead and hit that share button right now. And of course, if you're over on Clubhouse, go ahead and hit that plus button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Invite some of your friends in here. I'd greatly appreciate it. This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, say what's up, and I'll say what's up back. What's up, Billy Sherm? Day 18, I believe it is. Great to see you this morning. What's up, Tabby Negrit? We've got Jeff Baker's in the house. Doug Thurston is up in here this morning. Thanks for the stars, Doug. I greatly appreciate that. We've also got Tabby Negrit. We've got Susan Rose. I see Leisha Watts is up in here this morning. I see Amy Kennedy over on Instagram. I see the queen of car loans and credit has joined. What's up, Michael Braddock? I see my man Justin is in the house. Justin Conoco. We've got Sharon Rogers up in here. We've also got Mayo X in the house. We've got Addicted. We've got all those folks. We've got Sherg49 who just sent me a message. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. We've got the Alloy Artist. And then, of course, if you look over on Clubhouse, packed house over on Clubhouse. Over on Clubhouse, we've got Tyru, who I already said good morning to this morning. I see Bernita is with us. Good morning again, Bernita. I see Mario has joined us. Great to see you, Mario. What's up, Devin? And I see Robert is in the house. Patricia's in the house. What's up, Tom and Thomas and Emerald and Jeff and Cassia and Douglas and Regina? I want to go down. There's somebody in here. I see you, Kelsey. What's up, Kelsey? Great to see you, Kelsey Stark. I see Bonnie is with us this morning. Great to see you, Bonnie. What's up, Latrice and Nina and Renee and Michelle? And we've got Center Stage up in here this morning. Great to see you, Center Stage. We've got Lauren and LaWanda. We've got, my gosh, there's a lot of women in here this morning. I can't find any dudes. There we go. What's up, Ryan? How you doing, Clint? How you doing, Michael? We've got Wanda's up in here as well, and LaSonia and Phillips in here, and we've got Donato and Kelly. Packed house. And we've got Gina Duffy and Brad Smith. So here, check it out. All of you that are in here right now, what's up, Infinite Yogi? What's up? All right, all of you that are in here, my friend Ryan Leake is a guy. He's an incredible human. He is the associate pastor under TD Jakes. He is he pastors 12 times a year with Dr. Rowe. He's just an incredible dude, and he's got a book coming out, and he wants to buy you a copy and ship it to you 100% free of charge. The book is called Chasing Failure. What if losing was the quickest way to win? Chasing Failure, what if losing was the quickest way to win? And he wants to literally give it to you. I've never had an author do this for me before. It's not free plus shipping. It's 100%. He ships it to you. All you have to do is send him a text. Text the word champion to 469. Grab a pen, or type it in your phone. Text the word champion to 469 809-1201, and you can get a free copy of his book. He's going to ship it out to you, and you're going to want to do that. All right, don't miss out on this opportunity. We're doing it the rest of this week, and then that's it. All right, so with that said, let's dive in today's episode of hashtag Rise and Grind. So yesterday I heard an incredible story. There's a guy in Clubhouse who goes by the name of Preacher, and Preacher came on and he said, "Hey, Glenn, I was new on Clubhouse, didn't really know the technology. I jumped into this Breakfast with Champions room that you have, and while I was in that room, it inspired me. I'm running a small church. They put me in charge of the internet and the marketing and the social. I don't really know how to do that stuff, but I was inspired by your room to just take action, and so I took action. And since last Friday, there's been someone praying over and praying for people 24 hours a day on Clubhouse." Amazing. Also yesterday, last night, I was in a room and there was a woman by the name of Alexis. And Alexis said, "Glenn, I was in your Breakfast with Champions room and you guys pulled me up on stage. And when you pulled me up on stage, it was the first time that I had felt seen, heard, or significant on the platform. I was thinking about never coming on to Clubhouse again, but you guys made me feel seen, heard." I'm sorry, it wasn't Breakfast with Champions. Yeah, it was under the Breakfast with Champions Club. It was actually the social media show room. And she was brought up. She felt seen, heard, significant, and that like she was a part of something bigger. And so because of that, she now opens rooms on Clubhouse and pours into other people, making sure they feel seen, heard, and significant. How amazing is that? I also got a text message from Brian Benstock last night. Brian Benstock told me that Jay Abrams was going to be joining us this Saturday on Breakfast with Champions during the Saturday morning sales meeting. And Brian and Jay Abrams and David Spizak have built a relationship that stemmed from Clubhouse, him being on Breakfast with Champions, and that relationship is now a partnership where they're doing business together and they're expanding. They're going to be able to hire more people. They're going to be able to create more jobs. They're going to be able to pay more people more money and affect more lives, right? More people's lives. And all three of these stories came yesterday. Now, these three stories are three of thousands of stories that have all come from one single decision. One single decision to open a room called Breakfast with Champions on Clubhouse. From the very first Monday of January. That one single decision made all that happen. Think about that. Tuesday night, this past Tuesday night, I was at my mom's house. We have tacos every Tuesday night at mom's house. We have our Tuesday night taco night. It is the Lundy family favorite. Every night when we get back to the house, we're like, "What are you grateful for tonight?" And every single one of the kids is like, "Taco night." We were so grateful for taco night, to spend time with grandma and to spend time with grandpa. So every Tuesday, we do that at my mom's house, which is a house that we bought for her in Paris, Kentucky. Now, when I offered to buy this house for her, she didn't know if she wanted to leave because she had been comfortable in Flagstaff, Arizona for the longest time. They were actually living in the house that my stepdad, that my mom's been married to for a very long time now, since I was 11 years old. They were actually living in the house that he was born in, the house that he grew up in. So they were incredibly comfortable in that environment. She didn't know if she should move or not, but we got her to move out here about 4 years ago, and she is the most amazing grandmother ever and is making a lifelong impact on my children. Lifelong. They love their grandma. They love their grandpa. They wouldn't have known that if she didn't make that one single decision to get uncomfortable and make the move to Paris, Kentucky, to be a part of my life, my wife's life, and my kids' life. There's this woman named Niku who I met on Clubhouse. She sent me a message after being in Breakfast with Champions for a little while, and she said, "Glenn, can I just jump on a call with you for a second, please?" And I said, "Of course." So we jumped on a Zoom call, and her and I spent about 15 minutes. And I thought, man, there's something really special about this human being right here. And then I watched her grow since then on Clubhouse. We watched her grow on Clubhouse. She's a power fitness mod. She understands health and the body, and she has assembled a team of experts from all around the world, and they open these rooms and they pour into people and they teach about fitness and gut health and all of these other things. But on top of that, her off of Clubhouse, She has had a spiritual journey and a spiritual awakening that has made a massive impact in her and her family's lives and everybody's life that she touches. And it all started with this one single decision. And now, to top it all off, she has put together an entire team of experts that are going to take this guy right here, this dad bod guy over that you're looking at. They've decided to pour into me and to help me understand my nutrition and to help me understand my health and to help me to understand all of those things. And part of that is this guy, Michael Huey, who's been hanging out patiently in the green room this whole time that I've been talking. But part of that team is Michael Huey, and Michael Huey is making decisions that are changing the world. And he's been doing this for a while now. He's just an incredible human. I've had the opportunity to meet him in person last month, which was amazing. But he's got his podcast. He does a podcast with his wife, and he understands the body and DNA and biohacking and all of those things. And by his decision to step into his greatness, he is impacting people all over the globe, which is absolutely phenomenal. And so I brought Michael in today, and I just wanted to go a little bit deeper with Michael. And so I want to ask you, Michael, we know you're doing health stuff. I totally get that, and I love that. But what I want to know is, how are you? And I know you love God, and God runs through you. But how are you? How are you, Michael, changing the world?
Glenn, I'm changing the world by being humble and moldable and teachable. And it started by surrendering every area of my life to God. I struggled for years in God's will, out of his will, in his permissible will. And I had a dream right before COVID, and God said, enough's enough. He said, I want all of you, and I'm going to make a massive impact in your life, and that the greater days of your life are going to be better than the former days in your life. And at 52, I'm like, yay, right? Like, I thought I've lived a good life, but now at this age, I'm looking forward to the next 52 years.
52 years, God grabs you. He humbles you, right? He humbles you. And let's talk a little bit about that experience. So you were, had things going, we're rocking and rolling, we're thriving in one sense, and then that all kind of came crashing down around you a little bit. Why don't you share that story with us? And I'd love to hear the story of redemption on the other side as well.
Yeah, I get goosebumps when you were talking about it, Glenn, because as a husband, you want to protect your wife, your family, like you do. You do a great job at that. And I had a codependent relationship with a friend. And one day my wife said, are you sure that you want to keep pouring into this guy? Like, he's just not listening to you. He doesn't care about his health. He doesn't care. You know, he has no friends. We're his only friends. And he brought a guy into my life.
That women's intuition, right? They've always got that women's intuition. It's a lot
they're smarter
than ours. They are smarter than us.
They're smarter than us. There's a reason they live longer than us.
That's right.
You know, there's a reason why God says, you know, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing.
That's
he finds
right.
favor with God, right? Like, they're like, maybe we should listen to him more often, right?
No doubt.
And so I brought this guy, he brings this other guy into my business, and we're scaling. We're really doing good. We're influencing a lot of people. I'm traveling and speaking. And what I learned is what I was missing was protecting my wife and our other business from this guy. And literally, my wife retired. We took all of her retirement. We went in, we were crushing it. And one day she basically said, honey, you should, when you come home, we need to talk about some things. And I was like, well, let's talk about them now, right? Like, who wants to be out traveling and not talk about things now? And so she said, good thing we have residual income because we're almost bankrupt. And I was like, what? Like, are you kidding me? And she's like, yeah, you know, we're not going to file for bankruptcy. We've got this covered because God said that if we were faithful with the little, that we could be faithful with more. Yeah. And so we just surrendered. And now God has radically turned that around. I woke up one day, Glenn, I'll say this. I wook up one day and I said to my wife, we're going to move. And she said, when? Right. And so we sold our house. We made a significant amount of money on our house. We had only owned it for a year and a half. And a guy walked in and gave me a cash offer, the largest that anybody had ever sold a house for in our neighborhood, by more than $20,000. Right. And
gotta love that.
Yeah. And then we moved, and now we have this beautiful home on the water in Groveland, Florida, which is just outside of Orlando. And now God has through many connections and people, God has radically changed things for us. And I'm a better husband. I'm a better friend. Last year, I during the pandemic, I was nominated for a PhD, and I got my license as a minister. And so God took what we hear all the time as our mess, and he snipped and brought me in and said, enough's enough. We're going to do the rest of this life together fully. And so that's where I'm at today. Today I'm a different husband. I'm a different man. I'm a different friend. And I actually like, when I look in that mirror, you've heard you think about this, and I've talked about it last. When I look in that mirror, my wife writes affirmations. I have this bathroom upstairs. My wife, we have this little small bathroom downstairs, and
I get encouraging messages on the mirror. That's amazing.
She affirms me and tells me who I am, that I'm a great husband, that I'm a great friend, that I'm a great, whatever I do that day. And she just affirms me. And so that's what's been radical. I finally see myself as God sees me, Glenn. And I think that's what's most important.
I love that. You see yourself as God sees you. That's a very, very, very strong statement, man. And I love the bounce back, the resiliency. I love how the miracle is always in what's left, right? It's always in what's left. It's never in what's lost. It's never in what there is to gain. It's always in what's left. I'm going to challenge you just a little bit because we are live and we have no prep and you have no idea what I'm going to say to you. So I think that's a great opportunity to put you on the spot a little bit. Christians in general, bro, we do this, right? We say all glory to God. And I agree. All glory does go to God 100% in all of the things. But I think sometimes in saying all glory to God, sometimes we forget that we were there too. We went through it. Like, God forgives, God forgets, but we still went through those seasons. And you would not have gotten through that if it weren't for you participating and taking action in that, right? Yep. And so I'd love to go a little bit deeper. I shouldn't say deeper. Actually, let's go a little more shallow. Let's take God kind of out of the picture. How did Michael dig deep and know that it was so incredibly important for you to get through this and to be able to make an impact on the world like you are now? How did Michael do that?
Well, it's funny because I don't know if a lot of you have grandparents. I've heard you talk about, your mother, and my grandmother was my best friend, and I constantly sense her presence in my life and her words that she said to me. She would always say, never forget this when you get older. Never forget this when you get older. And she would say, God's never going to leave you. And I started to hear her voice when I was going through this. All these things came back because if you don't have accountability or you don't have mentors in your life that tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear, then a lot of people quit. And quitting was not an option for me. I grew up in an alcoholic father's home. I was told I'd never go to college. I'd never graduate from high school. I did all of that, but I felt like there was just something missing. I was feeling like I wasn't fully doing it. And I've had super success. We've won awards at some of the biggest conferences. We've done a lot of good things, but I realized that deep inside of me, there was something missing. And you brought up Niku, and she said the same thing to me the other day. She says, there's just something that I'm not doing that I need to do. And so, you know what I did? I did a self-examination in myself. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, this is exactly what I said, Glenn. You said, have a mindset and an activity level that matters, right? Like if you say this all the time, if I don't win, there's going to be people that are going to lose. If I don't show up as my best version of myself, there's going to be people that lose. And my wife says it to me all the time. You have a moral responsibility to show up as the greatest version of yourself. Obviously for God, but for everybody who's watching you. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. Glenn, you talk about that. You've made a lot of mistakes in your life. But when we do normal self-examinations and self-audits of ourselves, and we're able to look at ourselves in the mirror and move past those things and not look at in the rear mirror, that's what's most important. Now, as I told you before, I can look at that person in the mirror and see that person that God created, but I'm good with myself finally. And I know that it's not just about the present, it's about the future and what I'm going to do in the coming weeks, months, and years. And I think that that's what's most important is those self-audits, accountability. I have accountability now of friends that as I said, tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. I think that that's what's most important.
I love that, man. I'm muting you when I talk because I was told there's a little feedback loop there, but I absolutely love that, man. A self audit, really looking at what activities what am I bringing to the table? How am I showing up? Right? Because that's so important. TD Jakes talked about it in a sermon. He was like, God gives us trees. He doesn't make chairs. That's what TD Jakes said, right? He said he gives us the tree. We have to go in and carve and shape and mold and add our imagination and our creativity. Like, we've got to take action, right? He gives us a tree. He doesn't give us a table. We make the tables. And so I love that, man. I love who you are. I love your spirit. I love your light. People are really feeding off of you right now, which is amazing. And so I want to give you one last little moment on the mountaintop. This is your change the world moment, Michael. You've got 2 minutes, right? All of civilization is at the base of a mountain, and they're cheering your name, right? They're going, Michael, Michael, Michael. And they walk over and they hand you a mic and they say, bro, you've got 2 minutes to drop something on a practical application wisdom they can apply in their life today, this week, this month, this year. What are you going to tell them?
Well, I don't want to be cliche-ish, but I'll just say this. You know, I go back to remembering the things my grandmother told me.
Oh, make sure you unmute on Clubhouse.
Okay, sorry about that. So I go back to the things that my grandmother told me. You know, we hear it's kind of cliche-ish, but you know, you're some of the people that you surround yourself with. And every day when you wake up, somebody's watching, and you have a plan and a purpose. God puts a plan and a purpose in your life, and when that matches up with His plans and His purposes, then things go good. And so what I realized is that I would tell all of you to surround yourself with people that make you better, and eliminate the people that are not pulling you forward towards. And I go back to think about some of the things that you've been teaching on Rise and Grind for weeks. And I've probably got close to 60 pages of notes. And I think that it's not how we start, it's how we finish. It's not the sum of our mistakes. It's how we change those today, how we wake. God says we're never promised tomorrow, but when we wake up tomorrow is another opportunity for us to influence more people, to make more of an impact. And I say this on my podcast, Glenn, the most important thing that we can do is to love God, love people, and live with passion and vision and purpose. And I think that that's what's most important of all, is that we build solid, long-lasting relationships while creating boundaries around that, and surround ourselves around people who push us forward towards our goals, and then just to love God and live with passion and purpose. I think that's what's most important. And I think that gives us a calling and a destiny that's provided to us by the one who created us in His image. So
beautiful, my man. The one and only Michael Huey. Folks, make sure you follow this guy. Michael, thank you so much for your contributions here today on Clubhouse, on Facebook, on hashtag Rise and Grind. I stinking love you, brother. I'm going to wrap this thing up, and then I'll come. You and I will keep chatting over on Clubhouse, but I'm going to wrap this up here on Facebook. You guys, make sure you blow Michael Huey up today. If he touched you in any way, shape, or form, make sure you connect with him. You can follow him on Instagram. You can listen to his podcast. You can do all of those things. It's the He-Fluence, right? If you Google search Michael Huey He-Fluence, he'll be everywhere. Trust me, you'll find him all over the place. But make sure you connect with him, blow him up. And on that note, listen, it could be that you need to move from where you are now in order to get in the right vehicle. It could be that you need, It could be that you need to move to get into the right vehicle. Sorry, I didn't unmute on Clubhouse. It could be that you need to drop your pride and to forgive. It could be that you need to start. It could be that you need to stop. It could be that you need to stay. It could be that you need to go. You know what you need to do. You do. Deep down inside, you feel it. You see it. You taste it, but you won't do it. You're scared. You're nervous. Dare I go Marty McFly on you and say, you're chicken. What if I fail? I've heard so many people say, what if I fail? Well, the great Les Brown said, what if you fly? What if you fly? Listen, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care where you live. I don't care when you got there. I do care, however, about why you're still there. You see, you were designed to grow. No growth equals slow death. No growth equals less impact. Less impact means more lives are in danger. You see, the world wins when you win. So I need you to step up, step out, and leave your mark. That's all I got. We'll see you tomorrow.
They used to tell me. I hope you learn to make it on your own. And if you love yourself, just know you'll never be alone. I hope that you get everything you want and that you chose. I hope that it's the realest thing that you ever know. Hope you get the pretty girls that's pretty at everything. $1 million cribs, having $1 million dreams. And when you get it all, just remember one thing. Remember one thing. That one man could change the world. That one man could change the world. All I wanted was $100 million and a bad chick. Imagine this on Muslim nights, it felt like that I had it. Back on the mattress, staring at the ceiling, trying to connect the dots, but it's all making those attachments. I'm talking dreaming so hard, some nights it felt like draft day. You know, my stepbrother used to flip them bags outside the crib like it was trash day. No